Hello and welcome. This is Elizabeth, and I thought I'd take a stab at recording one of my builds that people don't usually see. Back in the day when the guild wasn't so busy and so large, I had a lot of time in my hands, and I used to get hired to decorate people's houses and halls. This is a build I'm going to show you that was Malicious Intent Guild Hall, Tier 3 in Freeport. The guild has since most of them have left the server, and it's pretty much inactive, so I don't get to come in here often. I don't have trustee access anymore. Many of the things I placed, I can't get back, and it's not something that people regularly see. So I thought one of my better jobs. It's not completed, but I thought I'd show you all how that turned out. I wanted to start first with showing you an empty Tier 3 hall so that you can kind of get a feel of how it comes. My first attempt at a video was I moved a lot quicker and spun around, and it was very dizzying, so I hope this attempt is a little bit better. I will try not to cause you epileptic seizures. You will note in the Tier 3 guild hall, the on Freeport side has these obnoxious structures on both the left and the right side. You can either utilize them for some kind of cordoned off area or cover them up completely. But this is basically the Tier 3 fairly large guild hall in Freeport. It's not very welcoming and warming. It's dirt floor outside here. We'll head on into the castle. Just give you an idea of what it looks like inside. Very similar in entranceway and stuff to the Kinos Hall. The walls in this Freeport side are convoluted, protrusions. None of them are straight. Makes it very difficult to decorate in. I'm going to try to keep it in third person here like this. It seems to work out, not make some quick moves. So basically this is it. It's just a empty hall. Like I said, all these jutting out protrusions and crooked walls. This is the main hall room. So that's how it comes. I'm not going to go through the entire empty hall, but you get the idea. Dark, gloomy, Freeport style. So we're going to head on out and get back to the bell so I can show you the hall I was creating. Like I said, I didn't get all the way through it. Guild kind of broke up, went their ways. I lost trustee access, but I got paid handsomely, so that worked out. So I'm going to right click this bell and choose visit. Guild Tier 3. Type in Malicious Intent or part of it. There it is. And head on in. There we go. I'm going to shrink myself down a little bit here for a little bit better viewing. You can already see a lot brighter, less gloomy. So the outside here, the ground is very uneven. You can't just lay flat grass patches and cover it all. It's too bumpy. It's not flat at all. So you do what you can, and you put some tufts of grass like here instead of the flat grass panels. You can use these wispy types that are a little bit more bulky, and you can size them up and down, make things look right. So on the patches that were not, even capable of covering by there, we place objects. So got a stable over here, and we got your groundskeeper and a nice garden area that he's maintaining. So while I was working on this, I would put up signs indicating progress. I even had a little copy of me as a house actor. It would say, what kind of progress we were doing while we were working on it. This took literally months. As you see here, Guildhall Designs and Renovations by Hallucinogen. And what's coming, kind of a little blurb about questions, comments, and concerns. This is their guild banner, placed conveniently right there. I'll try to go through like what some of these things are, just so everybody can see. So poinsettias, swamp plants, more poinsettias, just the white ones. Put a little fence and a wall structure there to give it a little more clarity and definition. Use some purple flowered shrubbery around it. Again, I'm trying not to move too quickly. There's your groundskeeper, herb green thumb. These are nice, I like these. Little vial plants. Of course, they placed them and then kind of sunk them into the ground so that they look official there. I think these butterflies come from these clumps of grass. Yeah, grassy knoll butterflies. So they like that, and they have the little butterflies hanging over them. So it gives it a nice effect. You'll note that the transporters here are the same as the ones in the Companions Guild Hall. This is where I first designed them. And I liked them so much I put them in our hall when I did them. If you want to see the construction of them, there's two of these plates. The mirrors daises. I stacked them on top of each other. Pull one straight up, spin it over. I use these split iron screens to uncover it. Position that properly on the one on the top. Inside you'll note there's a light. These are Mert lights. You will get those from the Mert illumination beam. You can, they do change color on their own. They just kind of rotate through colors. You can change the size of the beam and the direction of the beam and the angle of the beam. Gives it a nice effect. Looks like a teleporter. Those you have to get from the special instance for trade skills and do the quest to get Anchorage crit. You have to go to the Anchorage, do the Anchorage quest for Anchorage currencies, and then you can buy those. I believe that's the only place they come from. Again, I gotta watch my movement here. Alright, so as we talked about that structure that was over here, like to have that completely covered. I didn't want to utilize it as just this bare area. So, encased it in stones. You can see that these are rough stone benches that we used. Buried a little fountain in there, so it looks like water spout coming out of there. This is got the flower. Interesting. There you go. It's just your standard Griffin fountain. It normally look like this. Placed in there and then covered up with water. This water is a watery platform, just stretched out. I'm showing you all this because I assume the point of looking at these things is to see how they're constructed. Did my best to cover that whole area, and believe me, it was not easy with those points that stick up on that structure in Freeport. Covered it with some plants, stuff like that, some poppies. So you'll see out here all their trophies, much like ours. I remember when I was doing this, somebody was on a long mission to collect them all. So he got quite a few done, and it was happening while I was building this. So every time I got them all set, he would come in and plop down 3 or 4 more. And I'm like, oh my god. So there they all are. That structure in the middle was crafted. I believe I had legs make that for me and put that there. I'm sure Freeport, like us, have a one on the door that you can purchase, but it was pricey at the time. And I'm trying not to make too many sudden movements, because the last video I attempted made me dizzy just watching it. Just gonna go back to the stables here a second. I like to use magic mouse signs, so you'll see that welcome to the Malicious Guild Hall. It's hidden somewhere in the wall there. Is their mailbox, probably behind there. Dr. Paul used the same name. That's their stable hand. This carriage was a marketplace item. Bought it from the marketplace. Can't get it back because now it's in their hall. Placed a couple of horses in front of it. Thought it was kind of a unique look, so that worked out for me. Built this stable on this other side patch that really refused to take any grass. Nothing special here. Roofs are always a challenge, so see, I managed to get a nice roof. And now I don't use the layout editor. This is all done by hand. The layout editor I hear is really nice, but too complex for me to bother with. I prefer to do it by hand. It's more of an accomplishment for me, but that's a personal preference. This weather vane up here was, let's see if I can inspect it. No, I might have to fly up there. Anyway, so use some just some standard railings. These are those fey iron fences. Look like this. Horses can be purchased from any mount vendor, and just placed in a housing situation. So that's easy to obtain as many horses as possible. I use the fall or autumn window panes at the time, and you can get these dividers with window pane holes in them, and that's what I use there. 2 of them for both the windows. Nice trough there. Let's see, just a hay trough, exactly as it looks. Let's fly up here and take a look at that. Still too far away. There we go. So that's a Gorowin weather vane. This window isn't showing us all of it, but that's the base of it. Kind of sunk down into the roof. And these are mossy, I believe. Yeah, mossy briarwood room dividers. Takes a little bit of doing to get something like this laid down by hand. You kind of got to stand them up and then angle them down and make sure they match, which for an OCD person like myself gets a little nuts. But I've perfected it over the years. I gotta stop moving so quickly. So outside here is just the stables. Here you're gonna find your mender, and you see as we approach this is Mako, your guild mender, and up here on the sign I have Mako's repair shop. You bend them, we mend them. I do like to add, house actors with unique names and things they say, just to give a little flavor. So this disgruntled apprentice here says, "Oh, he just stands there all day, making nice with the members. Makes me do all the damn work. Better get Mako my ass." And we got him, doing his forging emote thing. So that makes things feel a little bit more like action's going on. Got a sample armor piece here on a mannequin. Made this whole walkway. Place these tiles one at a time. There are the fulginate tiles. I actually used blocks. That's what it was. Because the ground is not level, it's a real pain. So I ended up using the blocks themselves so that I can sync them at different rates so they became a nice flat walkway. Now, unfortunately, these fences don't have any collision. This type of fair iron. It's a nice look. I would have rather preferred to use a fence with a collision, but they just don't. Nothing there would work out, or I wasn't able to acquire those materials. Here's their chronomage, aptly titled H.G. Wells. In the Time Machine, you'll get that reference. So what I did with this structure on this side was, remember that ugly structure you gotta kind of cover or use. At the time I was building this, BOL had just come out, and the Sanctus Suru building blocks and items were new, and thought I'd take a stab at them. So again, if you remember, those structures in the empty hall had these nice, ridiculous points that stuck up a mile, so kind of had to build high. It took me quite a while to get this all placed and leveled and in the right dimensions. So this serves as their teleporting travel area. They did not have as many as we do, obviously, at the time. So I did leave a blank spot for possible future one. This is the anchorage, just like an Argyle Hall. What I was talking about, where you get the Mert lights, if you have that trade skill, line down. These structures came pretty much. This one's an exterior wall, so they came as blocks like this. So they were kind of unique to build with, and then you could actually get this entire structure. This is actually all one piece. A cathedral comes like that. These again from BOL Sanctus Suru. I believe, I don't know where you get them. I got them with the premium edition or collector's edition of BOL that I purchased. Just little things to occupy space right in here. Little fountain. More walls out there. You can see there's a little hole here that you can go down in there and get underneath the structure. But that's fine. Some people found it, some people didn't. These are fulgunate, fancy fulgunate, I think. Yeah, fancy fulgunate tiles. Again, with the porters here, so I placed their housing portal here. Let me clear this out. So you can see, just like our hall, it has access to all the houses that you have access to, whether it be trustee or friend. And this other one is the inter-hall porter, like I have set up in our hall. Not as many spots, but same kind of idea. And again, that's this is where I invented that transporter, designed it, and liked it so much that I put them in our halls. So more room for clicky things that aren't there yet. I believe this is a clicky, yeah, so if I use this flower, it sends me somewhere. And I don't want to do that right now. Okay, so this little structure here where I got the flags and all is covering up some of the peaks it stuck through. So that worked out. Took me quite a while to manage to cover it accurately and make this all flat and level. Here's a Baal statue of nobility. I don't know why I did that, because you can see it right here. As I told you, I didn't get a chance to finish this housing, so you can see where the grass stops. The grass was getting quite pricey as well. I had pretty much exhausted the resources of the server on grass. Lining it up and getting it to not go into these lines on the pathway and to look even was a logistics nightmare. Took me forever. Once again, I don't use the editor, so this was all done by hand, sunk in so that it didn't disappear, but also leveled out. So you can see I used a mossy piece here because there was just no way to cover it, or a wispy, and some of that here. And you can see some patches here and there that couldn't be covered with the flat piece. As I look at this, I don't like this line right here, but it depends on how you look at it. See, now it's gone. Again, I got to stop spinning. So just to show you around the backside, this goes on forever, all the way around back behind the hall. Convoluted bridges. Had some plans for it, just didn't get to it. Again, worked on this for months, and the guild was defunct by the time I was most of the way through. This carousel, interesting enough, was not built by me, so I'll tell you that right now. I did not build this. However, it was here when I got here, and I'm not sure who built it, but I found it pretty good, so I wasn't inclined to tear it apart. I left it here for now, and I was going to incorporate it somehow, maybe put some more rides or something in this section. I thought it was fairly well built and looked like it took a good long time, so I did not change it. So kudos to whoever built that. It's pretty decent. Alright, that's pretty much the outside for now. We're going to head on through here and into the front door. And just like in our hall, I built us a nice entranceway and somebody to greet. This is Concierge Caitlin, and she says, "Welcome to the Malicious Tent Guild Hall. Please sign in. New members, please touch the statue to your left and claim your Guild Hall recall. I'm always at your service should you need something." So yeah, there's their call to hall. Shrunk it down, put it on a bench. I don't get to use these benches all that often. It's a Coldane wooden merchant table. It's got that little ice feature that goes on inside it. It's pretty neat. I love to use signs. So there's a sign right up front that says Malicious Intent Concierge. Just for shits and giggles, you got a Halasian hardbound book. That's what that is. And you got a Quill of the Majdual Poet for the writing implement there. And of course, I like my house actors to have nice little sexy outfits on, so she's wearing that one. I believe I set uniforms for a lot of the Guild Hall amenity ones, and then dressed each of the actors. A couple of potted spiral. This is a spherical topiary. They have the spiral ones as well. The spherical ones have the balls there like that. It's very nice. I'm all about symmetry, so one on each side, one of these on each side. I think symmetry, just goes a long way for the look. The floor is done in stratum of the protectors tiles. It looks like this. They get fairly large. And I covered the entire floor again, not using the editor. These are placed by hand. So you can, and if you know my OCD, you know how long that took. I began with the stained glass inlays in the walls. I decided didn't know what color I was going to use, so I put in all the colors in each panel, and then I was going to decide, and my decision was to keep all the colors. So I think it gave it a nice look. So I just rotate the colors, keep changing the wall color to a different stained glass tile. And if you've used these before, you know they come in all sorts of colors. These are tiles that you have to lay on the floor. So to put them in the wall and inlay them, they have to be shoved up in the corner underneath the straight along the baseboard and flipped and sunken into the wall. Sounds easy, but it's not. If you're doing this by hand, it takes quite a while to get inlays. If you've ever done some inlays, you'll know what I'm talking about. Another porter here, just for the so you can get there from the front gate. So we're going to come in here in the main hall room. The floors are marble tiles. I did the entire upper and lower floors in marble tiles. Again, by hand, quite a feat, quite a time-consuming task to make sure they're even, to make sure they're not sticking out through stairways and into other rooms and all that other good stuff. These fish tanks were here when I came in. Thought they were a good place for fish tanks. Not up to my quality, but I didn't have time to rip them down, and I thought they were adequate enough. Whoever did it did a fairly decent job. There were some things that I would have changed, like I can see, the top of those tiles and where the floor ends and stuff like that. And there's no real water effect except for the smoky mirror thing. But if you saw when we went into the empty hall, that was a nice, thoughtful place to put these. So again, did not build these, but remained because thought they were decent enough. However, I did put this in. This is an inlay in the floor. MI for malicious intent. Thought that was a neat touch. Took me forever to get this straight and centered and just flush. Some of this was a real pain in the ass, especially that triangle tile there in the middle of the M. But after a few practices and moving it around a little bit, I think I've got it pretty centered in the room. Thought about a throne here or something, didn't get around to it. Ended up placing this as a pre-order buff thing. I believe we have one in our guild hall too. The Altar of the Ancients. Again, I'm going to try not to keep swinging around so much. Alright, we can start with, let's go here. This is their guild colors. When I mentioned, where are your guild colors, so I could put up banners, they didn't have one. And the server pretty much had gone through every possible pattern and color at the registrar, so this was all that was left and what they could get. So we made that happen so that I could get their colors up and their banners up and their cloaks all set that way. It's not great, but it's all that was left at the time. We were lucky to get ours, like you see on the back of my cloak, way better. But we got that very early, and you'll see I continued the pattern of stained glasses through in about every in recessed area that I could. Gives the hall a nice, much better look than the dark gloominess that it had, and I continued to rotate colors throughout. So we're going to come to our first room I built. Just like the Companions Guild Hall, where I'm kind of quirky about the names of the areas. So in the Companions Hall, everything's a C, right? The Copa Companion and the Commerce Complex, and the rooms I named were all that way. So same thing here. Malicious Intent. So a lot of M rooms. Malicious Monetary Mall. A multifunction monetary and merchandise facility by Hallucinations Designs. So basically this is their commerce complex, like in our guild hall. And again, I like to use the magic mouse signs, so you'll see that pop up, let you know what room you're in. Tried to go with a color theme in the room, so blue tiles and blue marbles floors. So this is a brilliant blue metal square, actually. Not a great color, but it worked in this room with the blue tiles. So put a couple of carpets down. Square nug of rug of knowledge. I believe this was also BOL Sanctus Suru. So anyway, started off with making the room. I usually start with the tiles and the walls, and then start to fill, just as it comes to me, things that match. So here I think we used the spherical topiary that I was referring to. If I get it to pop up, there it is. Yep, spiral topiary. Okay, so this is the spiral one. I used a lot of these topiaries throughout the hall. Again, another portal here. Then I began to build this structure to house their merchants. These came from POM. If you had faction with the merchants in POM, when you were doing all those faction quests, if you ever done those, this is you can buy these things from them. The columns are these here, Umbrite Fueled Maldurian Pillar. Alright, so this is a Maldura, which means this one is from Thalumbra, I'm pretty sure. So kind of a mix between the two expansions, but they work. So we use those from POM, and we use these from Maldura. Just kind of laid out a nice area here, built that little section, and then began placing their merchants. So I use the researchers' leather notebooks here to look like they're keeping a ledger kind of thing. This is their banker. Place a couple of gold pile, place a pile of fool's gold, yeah, gold bars, stuff like that. Gives it that bank look. Some chests, some bags. Put a vault back there. Again, I'm trying not to move around too much, and I don't want to go jumping around back there, but let's see what we got here. This is a map, continental map scroll. So their world market broker is named Let Go. And over there the banker is J.G. Wentworth. Here we have Mike Wolf, the commodities explorer. Anybody who's a American Pickers fan. Let's get some scales here. Declium weighing scales. Got a fiery jewel of the underfoot. And an elegant weighing scale. Some more safes back there. Use these lights in here to illuminate the room and put them on that structure. You got ornate stone sconces. I can already tell that this video is going to be pretty lengthy. So I hope you are enjoying watching it. We're just using some Sanctus benches, I think there are. Oh, Shard of Love. So these benches are from Shard of Love. They fit in nicely here with the motif. House Actor. Adorable Adorn. Says that armor needs a little boost. How about some adornments? Help yourself to the guild's collection. Well, there's your adornment box for this guild. So that's their depot. Probably has some stuff still in it. Oh yeah, they got stuff in there. So that's this part of their commerce room. These rooms in the Freeport Hall are kind of smaller and separated, so kind of built two rooms together. So now this section is the rest of it. Again, keeping with the motif of the blue tiles and the blue stained glass and the Shard of Love benches and the topiaries. Move around too fast again, so we slow down a little. Here you got their collector agent, so she's just a female version of ours, right? Colette Hector. That is I forget what that ring is, and I'm probably not going to be inspected because it's inside the box. Yeah, so it's in a small display case, but let's see what this is. Cylinder of Growth. Here's their collectible depot. So, and while this looks like the table that the fancy crafting table, it is not. It's just a table I used with place some of these gems on it. That's a Kavala table. So again, that's from POM. A nice little scroll here. Light of Arcane scroll. So that chest is Plane of Magic as well, I believe. And there's their spell depot. So they have their collectible depot and their spell depot right here. It's a scroll vase. I love these. I've been using these since the beginning of the. Again, stop spinning so fast. I used these in the beginning of the game, and I've used them ever since. These enchanters, candelabras, love them. You can. I'm pretty sure they're still in the game. You can probably pick them up from a city merchant. And I've been using these since the start of the game too. These braziers, Paladin braziers, like those two. Give out nice light. Gives a old school atmosphere to it. Again with these spherical topiaries. And another magic mouse sign on this side. Same counters from POM. I may be wrong. These may not be POM. Yeah, it's the one you had to work the faction on, so yeah, it's POM. And then you got a counter wedge that you can put inside. Just kind of angle it in there. Those were not fun either. You got their ammo depot here, and you got their Lore and Legend depot here. And with going with the Lore and Legend theme, you got plushies on display back there, and some Mert lights on the top. to highlight them. So Jeremy Wade here says, our great adventurers have collected hundreds of creatures throughout Norath and beyond. In order to master how to defeat them, please help yourself to anything you need. So that's that box there. Sharps and harrows. You'll be needing some ammunition for all that beastie killing. I'm not going to go over all that. Voodoo Child. Anyway, so there's their food and drink depot. There's their potion depot. Poison and potion depot. You got your basic merchants here. Some flags in the bag, nothing fancy. Standards. Give it that Freeport look. Alright, so that's their commerce area, their monetary mall. It was kind of hard coming up with them words for that. And again, continue to place inlays and keep that theme going. And we're going to head on over to their crafting room. So this is the Malicious Manufacturing Multiplex, or M theme. And after building this one, I kind of want to redo ours, but I never got around to it. So went with gold colors on this theme. You got the amber tiles on the floor, and you got the amber or canary stained glass squares. And each one of the trade skill machines has a little themed area. Best I could do to cram it all in here and create these little areas. So you get your tailoring here, and you got a nice furniture, high old sofa. Each area has its market board, or its writ board actually. You got some pillows. Looks like I can just click these. All right. And you got urinal screens. Large rug rolled up, turned on its end. Rack of fabrics. And another mannequin placed here with some nice robe of veiled vapor. Top of a carpet. This structure I built for their merchants, for their trade skill merchants. We used this really old standard lion mane corner counters and lion's mane counters. Laid them down on the ground, obviously after I did the tiles on the walls. Then I laid the top section on top of this, so it was nice and even and all, OCD perfect. And then raised them up. Once I raised them up, I placed these poles, black marble poles. You can see that, I sunk in the tops and the bottoms, give it that look that they were holding up the structure, and then use the canary squares to give it a kind of a roof. So their trade skill recipes salesman is named Blueprints, and their field merchant is named ExxonMobil. And here's their fuel depot. These are ferret cupboards with lion's mane counters on top and bottom. A couple of statues. So their trade skill writ agent is named Union Boss, and this rush order agent is named Hurry Up. Place a couple of these handbooks of the Iron Forge stains around. You got Forest Forager, Daniel Boone, and Chip Rocks for their harvesters. And you got their harvest depot right there. All in that little theme. I liked these shelves back in the day, and I tried to incorporate them into things, but they were really hard to work with. So they come like that. Ornate bookcases of the Shadowed. You got another teleporter. And then in here you have your elaborate workbench. Kind of cordoned off in its own little area. That's a gear sphere. Another one over here in a different color. Place a cog down. Sprocket or gears. Little pieces of things. Make it look like like a workbench area. Love these. They were recent when we got that expansion too. I think brackish orb, ceramic ball, all the brackish color. The color of these brackish items are really bold. I really like that. Looks really nice. Again, another red board, and the table itself got a nice little hourglass there. That's not that. Let's see if we can get that highlighted. Yep, Kunzite hourglass. Nice look at that. And then over here we have the chemistry table, and of course chemistry themed things, flasks, and let's see if we can highlight one of these. Yeah, love potions. I don't know what these weird things are. They just look like they'd fit. Orb sculptures, chests, little vial there. This is like a little Bunsen burner looking thing. Yeah, alchemy beaker. There's your alchemy flasks. Again, I'm trying not to spin too fast. Alright, so like I said, kind of separate these things into two rooms. So over here you have your woodworking table. Kind of make it look like things are being worked on. So, you know, you have chairs that you roll over, kind of angle like they're stacked. Turn some upside down like that. Looks like works in progress. There's some wood tools. And looks like we have, we're standing a bench up here. So we put a long table. It's a wooden barrel. Some paint cans. Again, keeping with the theme with the lion's mane counters. And the kitchen's right here in the center. So obviously your stove and keg. Food all around it. You got your turkey platter. You got your muffin pan. Some pile of plates. Basket of beans. Those kind of things. I'm sure you know where to get all these stuffs. Pomegranates. Plate of cookies. Frostfelt cookies. Let's go over here. More cookies and things. I think that's orange. Citrus. Plate of citrus. Corned beef and veggies. Place a few cups in here and tea, some sugar, cool mint teacups, gingerbread sugar plate, cool mint teapot. Let's see if we can highlight this here. That's your super mechanized distillery. Kind of give it a little good looking theme there for the kitchen. It's a nice little item. Not sure where I got it. Try not to keep scrolling out like that. Another slow look around. Alright, so when making the forge area, obviously these curtains work. I believe they're, Metapi fiber drapes. Always nice to have something that's interactive. So built the floor and decided I need some kind of walls. Then I began to use these split iron panes. Again, do not use the editor, so just making that happen, stacking these evenly and in place, creating a door, pretty challenging. Took me quite a while. Inside we just find some racks. I did the walls in fulginate tiles. I did the bottom in the Etherner stones. You got weapon racks, ring of scale weapon rack, Kromzek, and these we have in our hall somewhere too. Throw on some a tool rack and some chains, and you're in business. Got yourself a nice forge area. Another weapons rack. Try not to spin too fast again. So cordon off this little area with these. So it looks like you're in a safety-approved forge workshop. And then the last crafting table over here. The scribe desk, or whatever that is. Graving desk. And some scroll cases. Glacial scroll racks. Just throw up some decorations. Court of Blades, so that's Mazduel. You got your ornate globe of Norath. And these high-hold wall sconces. These are just your weathered low library bookcases. A lot of people use those. You can get them in the wide, in the narrow, and then the low. It's good building blocks if you're building in a library type area. Effect scrolls, I believe, are also from Plane of Magic. Again, I incorporated these bookcase of the Shadowed. And some more scrolls, Mystic Scroll, Mirror Scrolls. So those are from Mirrorist. Alright, so that's the manufacturing complex. Not much left in here that I did build. A couple more rooms. Well, 3 more rooms, I think. This is their malicious outfitters, armors, and weaponsmiths, just like the companions outfitters in the lower floor of the Companions Guild Hall. I created an area where there's just a kind of an outfitters salesman kind of thing going on. Again, another teleporter. Got Master Weaponsmith Wanda Wackham. It says here at Malicious Outfitters, we offer an unparalleled selection of weapons and armor pieces. Please take your time and look around. So, using these display cases, ornate display case, I believe I got these from a merchant in Kinos. I like them a lot. Can be tough to work with placing items in, so what you got to kind of do is place them on top of the glass and then sink them down. Once you do that, you can no longer examine them. They're in the case. So most of these are lore and legends and heritage quest items, that kind of thing. What I would do is go to the Shady Swashbuckler in Nectalus Forest, and you can only have one at a time because they're lore, so I would pick one up, come in here, place it down to Guild Hall, go back to Nectalus Forest, pick up another item. Things that I've earned along the way. That I have in my own houses and stuff, but you're able to just keep buying them as long as you buy one and place it, that kind of thing. So use the ornate display cases and then put a bunch of those type of weapons inside of it. Got yourself a nice little display there. Around the edges, I just put these platforms of Pexo, and kind of, because they had the purple in them, kind of went with the walls I was using. This is just marble tile, I believe, pale marble tiles done on the floor, and then a bunch of mannequins that are just dressed in all sorts of armor that I had and still have laying around, and Mert lights again on the top to highlight each one and angle them, and you can see the colors change because now they're blue, and I think if we sit here long enough they will change color. Again, more armor. A lot of the stuff you'll see in our hall too, because that's the armor I have laying around. And then you'll see me work with these sarcophagus a lot. It's the platform I put on top underneath. So I used a stage-looking platform. You'll notice that this was used in the stables in the Companions Guild Hall right out front. It's a good working base platform. If you don't need the stairs, you turn them around. And then I put on these. I'm highlighting the things. Let me see if I can get. There we go. There's your platform that was put on top. A Charasis platform has the same archaic lettering that the sarcophagus have on them, so that's why I thought that was that at first. And then again, ton of mannequins obsessively placed and dressed. You will see Sadina's outfit right there. I think Quick Draw wore something like that once upon a time. Got a house actor over here. There's the chief fabricator, Hans Hammersmith. He says he can customize any suit of armor to your specific needs. Again, I'm using these trade skill books just for appearance. And these are Sanctus Suru counters. And that one's a whole piece right there. So we're moving into an hour now. I don't know if this video is going to be way too long. This Keno's Claymore actually belongs to me. But again, placed it down. Can't get it back. Alright, we're going to move along to one of my best rooms. Across the side here. We're going to find... oh, I'm sorry, went the long way around. There we go. So as we approach this room, and some rando gets a message on my screen, we'll see Malicious Intent presents Club Sky. This is the club I built. Some white curtains there. Everybody knows where those from. White velvet curtain left and right. We got our bouncer, Big Hands Bobby. Says, welcome to Club Sky. Have your IDs ready. And we're going to head on inside. So, unst, 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 unst. You hear the driving beat. Right over here is, you're supposed to say something. Well, we'll go over here. Lola here says, well, Shot Girl says, Jello shots, just 2 plat for the next hour. And she's got some royal potions here that double for Jello shots. And some flame symbol here from POM, I believe, too. Emblem of Fire. And Lola over here says it's a 10 plat cover charge. And hold out your left hand because she's going to stamp you. Got another teleporter, some more topiaries. We're going to head over here to the bar. Now you'll notice in the top again, I'm going to reiterate, I do not use the editor. So placing this lettering was a nightmare. I don't think we can examine it from here. They're just railings. Placed as best as I could. Depending on the angle you're at, it looks better than some other thing. If you look at it the wrong way, it might not. But Club Sky, written on the wall there. You will notice that these are beds. That is a Kelethan single bed. Just simply use the end of it, stuffed it in the wall. Give me a nice liquor cabinet or bar kind of look. These are just counters, or banquet tables, actually. Yeah, these are these banquet tables that are spun flat, rolled over, and placed in there. And then, again, with the Great Sword of Growth, these are things that I just kept going back to the Nectilus Shady Merchant and retaining. This is their guild bartender. This is a nice, interesting item. Case of aged port. And it's any kind of bottle I could find to put up here. Just highlight a few of those so you can see what they are. So I just went through the game and picked up any bottles I could find. Stacked that up. These here are just polished wood railings and wooden poles stuffed inside. Just use the base bottom of them. So pointing them up and then spinning them, pointing them down, putting them on top of each other. The collision there was a little bit nuts, but again, built that by hand. Takes a little doing. This is an interesting feature. This is a bar tap. You'll notice the grate in the middle of it is a Kelethan brazier. Look at that. So I only wanted the grate part. Sunk that down into the counter and then used a black marble tile on top of it. Let's see if we can get it a little closer there for you. So that comes out looking like a drain or a grate. These bar taps are actually quite large and they're stuck in the counter. Tinker distillery columns that look like this. Stuff them in the counter, angle them down. They kind of look like taps from a distance. Thought it came out pretty well. So, looks like your bartender here. Barmaid Brandy says, what it'll be, bub. So these house actors say things too, and this is Izzy Tailshaker says, this is my favorite club, and I'm not even a guild member. And Cyrano Sarnak says, just love it here. Got themselves some fizzy mugs. This poor Ratanga, he's love struck. He says, I should probably just go ask her to dance with me and be brave. Sigh. And he's talking about this little girl over here. So we built ourselves a nice dance floor. We used some of these tiles of mischief. A bunch of house actors doing random dance moves. That's actually an itch, but it works out. She's doing the itch too. They all do have names. Play that funky music, white boy, says Chief Engineer Wazzlecog. And Felicia says she's gonna boogie till she can't boogie no more. And this little Ratonga's Ratsy says, I just love DJ Malicious. And there's DJ Malicious. He should have said something. Yeah, DJ Malicious Intent says, put your hands in the air. DJ Malicious is in the house. Got 2 turntables and a microphone. I know, I'm silly. So, again, with the Charissa's platform, this is the one that's illuminated, so it has things coming off of it. And again, with the Carval counters, just really enlarged. You will notice that the speakers look like they're active. They're simply blocks of marble, but what I use is the Temple of Life inside there. So this is what the Temple of Life looks like. Just flip it, stuff it in the block, change 2 sizes. Looks like you got a couple of speaker cones and an active set of speakers. Being the theme of this club is Club Sky, I use the cloud tiles, cloudy squares, and the twilight ceiling, starry squares. This, I believe this was part of the structure. No, I put that there. Valor Triumphant. So that worked out alright. Here's DJ Malicious's turntables. This is another one of my marvelous feats here. So we use a Torsus merchant desk. 2 more Temples of Life, like I showed you before. So these actually spin. Not quickly, but they spin. You can see them moving. Couple of rails, and I believe I put a pawn under here. Not sure. Let me scroll in a little bit. Yeah. So got a black pawn sticking out of there, a couple of black marble railings, and bingo, you got styluses that go on there. So pawns for knobs. This is actually a knife for the microphone, just stuffed in the counter. Best thing I could find that looked anything like a microphone. It's not too bad. So you got your video screen here, which is just a black marble tile with a light frozen tile on top of it and inlaid. And then your keyboard, again a black marble tile, and then we use a block of Etherner stone, sink it down in there, and bingo, you got yourself a keyboard. Probably if we look underneath we see that stone sticking through, but you don't really see it. So 2 turntables and a microphone, a nice DJ booth. Again, Mert lights. Use a lot of Mert lights. I love them. Gives a nice highlight accent feature. Again, you get those from the Anchorage. So all these guys have names and saying things. See if we can get some more to come up. Oh, I scrolled this down. Brad says she's so white girl wasted. Brittany says feel the groove, baby. Alright, let's keep moving. I don't want to make this video any longer than it already is. Hopefully it's less nauseating than the last one I made. Alright, there's only one more room, really. We're going to go up the stairs here before I ran out of time. Again, I marble tiled everything in the upstairs floor and continue to use the stained glass theme, multicolors. I'm going to come up here to their deity rooms. This is the Temple of Dichotomy Priests, and he says, welcome to the Temple of Dichotomy. Please join us in praising the gods. Watch your step. Dark side to the left, light side to the right. And you'll see again I use signs up here. Dark side, Temple of Dichotomy. Light side, Temple of Dichotomy. So we kind of given it a theme, dichotomy, obviously. So it's split in half. We have the evil side over here. We have your evil deity altars. We got Conan the Destroyer here praying to the wise tribunal for justice. Some pillows in front of each altar for kneeling. Again with the Shard of Love benches. White tile floor. Got some devotees. A Ralizek devotee says, "Kill them all. Let Ralizek sort them out." And you got your preacher here for the evil deities. He's the high priest, Warren Monger. He says the gods help those who help themselves. No mercy for the weak. The gods of war will smite those who cower in fear. Right here we got a Scribe's Arcane Podium. A black pedestal, marble pedestal bench, with just some evil stuff here. This is a clicky, so it's saying it's a sacrificial dagger of fear, and it apparently gives a buff. Blazing, direful blazing skull. Oh, that gave me something too. Knowledge of hate. Anointed bowl of Vertoxylus. Oops, I didn't want to open that. I wanted to look at this. Book of Hate. Okay. Got some weird scale-born skull fonts here. So like a fountain kind of thing. Got a nice effect of some crazy blue goo in there. This, I had a tough time trying to figure out what I was going to do with this little square area back here. So each one of them, you'll see the other side has a kind of a creature or a person. This one is the Preserved Lich Bride, and she is a marketplace item. So I did spend some station cash on some of this stuff. A couple of hanging vines attached to dark columns, which I can't seem to highlight. Let's try the base. Nope. There you go. Black marble columns. Look like that. You got a lava tile in the back, flowing lava tile, which is a floor item, so you have to spin it, put it up in place. I used it as a background. Covered the gaps with vines and plants. You got the acrylic fountain right here, and you can't see the outlet of that, but it gives it a watery effect. And another tile down in there in the bottom. I'm trying to figure out what I got. I'm spinning around this woman, but I don't think that I can highlight it. No. These are ancient glow ferns. Oh, that's a pitcher plant. So anyway, built the structure there, hung these Malaysian coal lanterns, put the bride in there. Again, I'm not sure what that spinny thing is called, and there it is. Lantern of Elemental Fire, so that's what that looks like. I just stuck her inside of it. Alright, we're gonna keep moving here. Use the black velvet curtains on the one side and the white on the other, obviously. Give it that dichotomy effect once again. Again with the love benches. This is a Karen skeptic. He says, this is all a bunch of hokum if you ask me. These so-called gods have needed mortal assistance on more than one occasion. They're all weak. She's got her arms folded. Doesn't really look like she wants to be here. Again, we got the good deities and the pillows to kneel on. I'm spinning fast again. I gotta stop it. I believe these are also from Planet Magic. No, these are Tauros pedestal lamps. Again, got another kind of preacher person here. It's the High Priestess Goody Two Shoes. She says, love thy fellow sentient life forms, respect Mother Tunar's creations great and small, and lead a noble life on the path of righteousness, and you will be rewarded in the Etherneer. You know, religious hocus pocus. And you got a white pedestal here as opposed to the black one on the other side. And another one of those brackish bowls, which I love. And a scale-born tome that kind of fit the color and theme. Nice chalice here. It's a chipped Kino Celebration cup. And inside these titanium vases, I stuffed these plants here. And over here we have our other area here. We got the, this was also, I believe, a marketplace purchase. Magical Fell with Sorceress statue. Draped by white marble columns. Another fountain. And if you notice closely, I don't know if we can highlight this for you. I'm going to get in here. These fish in this water is, yes, here we go, Aqueous Sentinel plushie. So that's actually a plushie in there. It's the one that has the fish and he's see-through. And he's stuffed in there to give that effect. You really can't even tell he's there. So you get that nice fish effect and water behind her. You got some Valorian blooms. Again, more vines. Pool sproutlings. And that's how we stuffed those in there. Kind of hid the bottoms of those in the structure. And we got like hanging vines here. Yeah, blue leaf hanging vines. Alright, pretty much done with the tour. I did move up further into this area here. This is where the Guild Prophet is. Another teleporter. This particular room, being on the upstairs floor, does go out to the exterior hall. So I did start to decorate in here a little bit, give it a little bit of a look. You can come in through the outside and work your way down. There's a Jurassic head statue. There's another priestess of the Temple of Dichotomy here that greets you and tells you to proceed down the stairs and watch your step. Good deed doers to the right, warmongers to the left. I think I have a couple of these in our guild hall too. These are Keno's Guardians. I don't know why I did that because you can clearly see it. Some paintings on the wall. Back again with the inlays of the stained glass. And then it just kind of goes outside, which I did not get any further outside. It's another sign telling you where you are. I love standard bearers, banners, whenever I can use them to highlight the areas. Looks pretty good. So again, we're just going to come back down, back into the castle. I think this is pretty much all we got accomplished before things went south. Again, with the Magic Mouse sign. I love those things. I usually hide them. There it is right there. That's a Verona Vi statue. There's your Magic Mouse sign. So I try to tuck them away into places that can't be seen or aren't usually looked at. And then you can set their radius. So let's see here. I'll show you. Maybe not. Maybe because I don't have trustee access anymore. Yeah, that's what it is. So normally you can set what it says and the radius and of when it comes up when someone approaches. So that is the Malicious Intent Guild Hall that I had worked on for, it's got to be a good 4 or 5 months. Never did get around to finishing it. It's something nobody's ever going to see again because the guild's no longer here. So it's a nice take tour, and at least I have this video for myself even to remember it by if it ever disappears. So we're already at like 1 hour and 10 minutes. I'm going to head on out. Call that a successful video tour. Alright, and thank you for joining me.